All right. Well, welcome everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining us for this latest Latte and Learn event. I'm Jennifer Stefanik, Green Business Coordinator for Washington County Solid Waste and Recycling and the Green Business Leaders Program. And this is our, what is this, our 6th or 7th Latte and Learn. We've been having these virtual events about monthly since the beginning of the year. So our presentation today will be focusing on safer cleaners with guest presenters, the Pacific Northwest Pollution Prevention Resource Center. We've got a good sized group here, and to get a sense of who's in the room or who has joined us today, if you would like, you can share your name and the organization you're with, the role you serve within that organization, and maybe just an exciting activity you have planned for the summer. My colleague Kate is kind of behind the scenes to help if you're having any technical difficulties, and she's going to be helping with getting us into breakout rooms and other kinds of just anything behind the scenes. So she will have added her info into the chat to start the conversation about the who and what role she serves and her favorite summer activity, but no requirement to share if you'd rather not. So before we get started, I just wanted to go over a little bit of housekeeping. Please do keep your mic muted until the Q&A portion of the presentation. You can use the chat function for the Q&A when we get there at the end, a little bit closer to the end of the presentation. Feel free to raise your hand at that point, or you can even turn your mic on when we get to the Q&A if you'd like to ask a live question. You can keep your camera on or off, whatever is comfortable for you. For presentation viewing, you can select the side-by-side mode or dock the images of video participants to the side or bottom of the screen if you'd like. We are recording this presentation. And as you can see, my email address is listed here on the screen. So if you would like to jot that down and send any questions or feedback after this presentation, feel free to. We'll also be sending out a PDF of the presentation and other links that the PPRC will share today to all the registered attendees after the event. So keep an eye out on that. Keep an eye out for that. So accessibility and discussion, Spanish interpretation is available for today's webinar. So to hear this in Spanish, go ahead and click the interpretation link on the bottom right of the Zoom toolbar. There'll be a little pop-up window, and you can click next to the Spanish, and you will be able to hear this in simultaneous interpretation. Leticia Munoz is over in the interpretation room currently, so feel free to join. Let's see. There will also be breakout rooms today, so keep an eye on that. And there is that chat. I'm sure most of us are now super familiar with Zoom and finding the chat buttons and all the functions. So yeah, feel free to get in that chat and ask some questions. And with that, I'd like to introduce Kylie from the Pacific Northwest Pollution Prevention Resource Center. Kylie Church is an environmental outreach specialist at the Pacific Northwest Pollution Prevention Resource Center, or PPRC, where she provides technical assistance around toxic chemicals and third-party certified products. So I will stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you so much, everybody. It looks like my screen is up. Can I get a thumbs up if you can see it?
Yep.
Awesome.
Looks good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. It's bright and early today, and it's nice to see some familiar faces. I love to see the Safer Choice community coming together this morning. So thanks, everybody. For those that don't know, my name is Kylie Church. And like Jennifer mentioned, I work for the Pacific Northwest Pollution Prevention Resource Center. We're a nonprofit that offers free assistance to businesses to help them select safer and less toxic products in their processes, implement environmental best management practices, improve sustainability, and properly manage hazardous and non-hazardous waste and materials. We work with many sectors from automotive businesses to schools to manufacturing facilities, food production, and more. We've partnered with the Oregon DEQ to offer this training through funding from an EPA pollution prevention grant. Today, we will be sharing information on the benefits of less toxic products and how to find safer choice products. Here's a brief overview of our schedule today. First, I'll be presenting information about toxics and cleaning products and purchasing solutions, followed by a workshop breakout room activity led by myself, Brittany Wendell from PPRC, and Lisa Cox from the Oregon DEQ. After our activity, we will come back together as a large group and with our remaining time, review and have a Q&A. Our workshop has a few goals. We want you to leave understanding the hazards and impacts of working with toxic chemicals, and we want to show you how to find toxics in the products you use. We also want you to leave the workshop with an understanding of toxic-free product certifications and knowledge on how to purchase non-toxic products. Before I jump into it, I'd like to send out this brief Zoom poll to get a sense of the chemical use landscape of all of our participants. Your answers will be anonymous and not shared with anyone, but the group's responses will be shown once everyone has submitted their poll. Do we have any questions? All right, so I'll give us a few minutes or when I see if all poll respondents have answered. And we're gonna have all these 5 questions are in individual polls. All right. So you see a lot of cleaner use. That's good. We all need that in our home and business. All right, do we have the second question come in? Yep, here we go. All right, getting some mixed results here, but it seems like most of us don't work with suppliers. That makes sense. I would love to have somebody do all my chemical shopping for me, but I do it myself. Do we have the third question coming?
I'm trying to launch it, but it's not letting me. Okay, Kylie, are you seeing the third poll?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for everyone's participation. Oh, I love this question. Gives us a good sense of the use case. Seems like for now, a lot of people are really wanting effectiveness and eco-friendliness. Awesome. These are my people. Yeah. All right, this is our fourth question. We're about 50% of the way there. Good to see that for now, the majority of people don't have adverse effects, but sounds like there's some potentially skin, respiratory issues and headaches. I understand that the same happens with me. We were just waiting for like a few people to answer, which I'll give them maybe 30 more seconds, or we'll just move on. These are enlightening results. Is really good to know. Sounds like we have a lot of adopters of non-toxic products. And lastly, if there's any barriers, that's why we are here today, to try to address them, overcome them, and offer some long-term help. Right, we have 6 of 15 responding. All right, and we'll just show these results and move on from here to keep with time. But I had a feeling that this potentially could be some strong barriers: costs and product knowledge. Thank you, Kate, for your help sharing these poll results. I think we all saw them, but I'll send them out one more time. Thanks everybody. Thanks for participating. I definitely learned from this poll. I had some surprising results. I'm really glad to see that we have a lot of non-toxic product use going on currently. But a little bit of background for maybe those that don't know. I think we all may have a baseline understanding of toxics, chemicals, and their use in cleaning products. Chemicals are the backbone of life. You know, we use them in so many products that provide solutions. But toxic chemicals are those chemicals that can cause harm to living creatures. Chemicals can be toxic depending on quantity and exposure. Within the category of household and family cleaners are many classes of chemical products, ranging from all-purpose cleaners to kitchen degreasers, laundry detergents, pet care products, and sanitizers. These products have an essential place in our homes for the cleaning solutions they provide. But how much do we consider our exposure to the potentially toxic active ingredients in these products? Common exposure pathways when using these products are when you breathe in, where toxics can enter your body through your nose and mouth, or when they are absorbed through your skin. Certain chemicals in cleaning products are associated with adverse health impacts, including skin irritation, impaired lung function, cancers, endocrine disruption, and impaired reproductive function. Now, toxics have impacts on organizations and their staff through a range of exposures, impacts, and concerns around their use. Exposure to toxics impacts organizations at all levels and at all stakeholders. Referring to this table, there are different points of exposure for both employees and consumers and business owners. Employees and consumers who use products with toxic active ingredients may experience adverse health effects or disease. This is a large concern for worker safety and being able to make a living without placing a disproportionate burden of toxic exposure. Now, for business owners and organizations, your biggest exposure to toxic chemicals, if you are not using them yourself, might be through the cost of purchasing products. To reiterate, toxic ingredients in those products may contribute to an unsafe work environment for yourself and staff, and could potentially lead to a serious workplace injury. A solution to both concerns can be that the business purchases and implements the use of non-toxic products instead. There are many other human health, environmental, and economic benefits to using non-toxic products, ranging from improved indoor air quality to less pollution and environmental damage, as well as even less personal protective equipment or PPE being required when using these products. Here are some helpful and quick tips to reduce harm while working with chemical products. When you're out at the store shopping for cleaning products, or when you pick up a product out of your cleaning cabinet at work or home, you'll want to start by reading the back of your product label and then avoid using products with the all capitalized hazard words of toxic, danger, or caution. These hazards are assessed when the product is released to market and undergoes rigorous human and environmental health testing, which determines their hazards. Pictured below are 4 products which contain active ingredients that are considered hazardous. These are some of the active ingredients to look for when reading your label. sodium hypochlorite or chlorine-based bleach, which is found in many disinfectants, quaternary ammonium or ammonium-based cleaners, which are found in disinfectants and microbial products, the generic term fragrances, which can be any scented product containing phthalates or phenols, which are two classes of chemicals known to cause endocrine disruption, and perchloroethylene, which is a powerful carpet and spot cleaner, yet is a very toxic neurotoxin to humans. Now you may be thinking, how do we read product labels for these hazards? Typically, you can find hazard information near the product information on the back of a chemical product label. In this example, this cleaner is denoted with the danger hazard word due to the dangerous negative human health impacts, as well as impacts on animals. Hazard words usually have some supplemental information about the risks surrounding the product's hazard. In this example, the label says that contact with the product causes skin and eye damage and is harmful if swallowed. In this example, a perchloroethylene label contains the hazard word danger, and risks associated with the product are organ damage and neurotoxicity. This is a good example to highlight because it also showcases OSHA hazard symbols to the right in the red diamonds, which correspond to the hazards assessed during testing. You can always refer to OSHA hazard symbols to understand what they mean and correspond to for the product you're using. Similarly with this example here, this product has a hazard word of caution due to the risks of eye irritation and handling by children. By us studying hazard words and product labels, we can get a quick and helpful determination of the risks of chemicals in the products we know and love. Along with understanding toxic chemical hazards for the products we want to avoid, we can also look to embrace selecting the products which have been tested and verified to be a safer and less toxic alternative by the Environmental Protection Agency or other third-party certifications. This makes finding toxic products much easier and more accessible. To make the purchasing process easier to identify greener cleaning products, the EPA manages the Safer Choice Program, which certifies products that contain safer ingredients for human health and the environment. In addition to the Safer Choice label, EPA offers the Design for the Environment label on antimicrobial products, such as disinfectants and sanitizers. Eco labels are a good tool to help purchasers quickly and easily identify products that are greener. However, it is important for consumers to be careful in interpreting vague or generic claims on products such as environmentally friendly, eco-safe, or green. Third-party certified labels for non-toxic products ensure the products you're using actually do contain safer ingredients for human health and the environment. In this workshop, we are focusing on the Safer Choice and the Design for Environment or DFE certification because they are the only two approved and managed by the EPA. But there are other third-party certification labels you can refer to, such as the Green Seal and Eco Logo, which are legitimate third-party certifications for products. Within Safer Choice, there are 3 different labels. The first is the general label with the home icon, while the second one is an option for industrial and institutional use and has a globe icon near the top. The last label is for fragrance-free products. This is very important for indoor air quality. As I've mentioned earlier, indoor air quality can be made worse with the use of certain products which contain fragrances, which can actually trigger asthma symptoms in humans. The EPA Safer Choice label helps consumers, businesses, and purchasers find high-performance products which contain ingredients that are safer for human health and the environment. Safer Choice labeled products must contain non-toxic ingredients. The EPA reviews every chemical ingredient, and every ingredient must meet strict safety criteria for both human health and the environment. Safer Choice products must perform at a similar level and have a similar cost to their less safe alternatives on the market. Safer Choice products must also disclose all ingredients for assessment of their impacts. And lastly, meet environmentally sustainable packaging requirements, such as recyclable, degradable, or less packaging material being used. For about the past 15 years, the Safer Choice label was known as the Design for the Environment or DFE label. The program didn't change, but the label did, as Safer Choice is easier for consumers to understand and recognize the meaning. The DFE label is still used for disinfectants, which I'll discuss next. As we've been talking about, various hazardous chemicals are commonly found in cleaning, sanitizing, and disinfecting products. This is particularly challenging right now due to the COVID-19 pandemic. People are using disinfectants more frequently, which can protect against COVID, but they pose a risk of their own. As I've mentioned, disinfecting wipes and sprays which contain active ingredients of ammonium and chlorine bleach can lead to asthma or respiratory issues, two things we don't want to aggravate during COVID, which itself can lead to severe respiratory ailments. People using these products and people in the spaces where they are used can get sick or develop illnesses, including asthma, as I've mentioned. Some can damage skin, and others harm reproductive health or may cause cancer if too much exposure occurs. Just like the Safer Choice label can help you find safer cleaning products, the Design for Environment label can help you find safer disinfectants. PPRC made a handy fact sheet to help find safer disinfectants, and we'll be sharing that now in the chat for everybody to view. Now, I'll be talking a little bit more about the information on the fact sheet. The Design for the Environment label helps consumers and purchasers find antimicrobial products, like disinfectants and sanitizers, that have been reviewed by EPA and found to meet both the pesticide registration requirements and the standard for DFE certified products. This means DFE products must meet all of the same stringent standards of Safer Choice, but since they also have a component that will kill infectious germs, they are regulated as pesticides and must have an EPA registration number. These products contain ingredients that have been reviewed for both human health and environmental safety. You can check out the DFE database through the link on our fact sheet under the Selecting Safer Products section, or at the Safer Choice website, which we will share in the chat now. Now for COVID strength disinfectants, at the beginning of the pandemic, EPA created List N, a database of disinfectants and sanitizers that are effective against COVID-19, but aren't necessarily safer for public health. You can check out the List N database, which can be found on the second page of our fact sheet under EPA COVID-19 resources and at the EPA links just shared into the chat. One note to make is that List N and DFE are not the same. And just because a product is on List N does not mean they are safer for human health. So if you are looking for safer disinfectants, then you will need to use the DFE search tool rather than List N. That being said, it might be difficult to find DFE certified products in stores, and there are many products on List N that contain active ingredients that would be used in DFE products. If the DFE label is not on a product that you are considering buying, we recommend using disinfectants and sanitizers that contain ethanol, isopropyl alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, lactic acid, or citric acid. These chemicals are safer for use, but are still effective against COVID-19. In the List N database, you can search for products containing these active ingredients by refining the search based on active ingredient. You can also reference product ingredients to avoid by referring to our fact sheet or visiting an EPA link that we'll be dropping into the chat right now. And calling back to my earlier slides, remember, we want to avoid using products with chlorine bleach, ammonium, fragrances, or perchloroethylene-based carpet and spot cleaners. Now, we may have gotten used to certain cleaning and disinfecting products that have a strong smell, come in a certain packaging, or look a certain way. Just because third-party certified products lack a strong smell or look different doesn't mean that they won't work. Part of the Safer Choice criteria is that they have high performance standards and are market competitive. While third-party certified products are safer for public and environmental health, you should still practice regular workplace safety procedures. Remember to read product instructions and use only as intended. So, how can we find non-toxic products locally for our use? I'd like to show you how I did that using EPA's Safer Choice website. You can follow along with me if you'd like, or you can just watch on my screen. We'll share this link to the main EPA Safer Choice webpage. Excuse me, we've already shared this, but we'll be dropping it into the chat again for you to review. So Brittany, if you can drop that into the chat. And when you're there, feel free to give me a thumbs up on Zoom, but I'll just give you maybe a minute or so to get to the web page. All right, thanks for your participation. All right, so many of us are here looking at our Safer Choice webpage, and you may have to scroll down a bit to find under the, sorry, let me take a step back. Once you're on the page, if you scroll down, you'll see a list of resources, some quick searching tools, as you see here. You may want to use the Find Certified Products section, where you'll find links to find Safer Choice and DFE certified products. You also may be interested in visiting the Safer Chemical Ingredients lists and the Safer Choice labels section to learn more about Safer Choice criteria. The section for manufacturer resources is more for you if you were manufacturing products and wanted to get them reviewed and certified Safer Choice. Like many of our resources, Spanish translation is also available. I'm going to start with the Browse Safer Choice certified products. You can see I've been visiting this page a bit. This section provides all Safer Choice products available. You can refine the product search tool by product or company name, fragrance or fragrance-free, outdoor products, home or business use, and product type. For example, we can look for a product right now, such as chlorine-free bleach. Just type in chlorine-free bleach. Happens in real time too, it's really cool. It'll populate all of the chlorine-free bleach products that are Safer Choice certified in real time. And you can click on the link from the search and it will open up product availability in a Google search in order for you to determine if the product is available at your local retailer or through a supplier. That's essentially what I did. Flipping back to my presentation here. That's essentially what I did here in order to find some purchasing information. Now, I was interested in understanding how this option stacked up against a standard maybe chlorine bleach that I've used in the past. And I found out through a Google search that they are both similarly priced around $7 per gallon and are available at my local supermarket. And since the Safer Choice certification criteria does not certify toxic products, I can purchase that option knowing that my toxic hazards are greatly reduced from the dangerous hazards of chlorine bleach. And this is the type of knowledge that I hope you will gain and leave with today. Now we'll be shifting gears and utilizing this information we learned in a workshop breakout group activity to find third-party certified products. In our workshop, we will be breaking up into groups to complete a scavenger hunt on this Google sheet using the Safer Choice, DFE, and ListN databases that we shared with you all today on our fact sheet. We'll be dropping that into the chat shortly. And the objective of this activity is to identify purchasing information of a third-party certified product that you are interested in using to replace a product you currently use at home or work. I'll show you a brief overview of how the workshop Google Sheet works with our activity. Get a new share going. All right, and I see many of us are jumping in here. Woohoo. All right, so just some orientation. You'll note that at the bottom we have a few sheets. So this first sheet is the links and fact sheet. It's a landing page of information which contains links to the EPA Safer Choice product databases, as well as our fact sheet for your reference today. The remaining sheets are numbered for the breakout room you're automatically assigned to. For example, if your Zoom breakout room number is 1, then you'll use the breakout group 1 sheet. Each breakout group will have a PPRC or Oregon DEQ staff member assigned to facilitate a discussion and provide guidance and resources if necessary. For our activity, here are our instructions, which can be found in the chat. Your objective is to hunt for third-party certified products through the Safer Choice databases. Your objective for this activity is to select a non-toxic product alternative for a potentially toxic product you already use in your home or place of work. Using our Google Sheet, you'll be filling in a blank template with purchasing information you found on your hunt. And if you have a bit of extra time and are curious about the hazards, bonus points goes to everyone who takes their investigation a step further and researches the hazards and hazard impacts of their selected product. We'll be spending roughly 15 minutes in our breakout groups to complete the scavenger hunt and discuss any cool findings or major takeaways learned. You will have approximately 10 minutes to research scavenger hunt information and about 5 minutes to discuss together in your small groups. Then we'll come back together into the main session where my breakout group leaders will share major takeaways or other awesome results gathered. When we come back, we'll have some time to discuss the workshop activity and have a Q&A period. Does anybody have any questions before we begin? Feel free to drop into chat or unmute real quick.
Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and we can get the breakout rooms assigned, and Kate is in the process of doing that. And so if any participants would like to remain in the Spanish interpretation space, then just you can stay where you are. And everyone else that would like to join a breakout room will be assigned shortly. Right, I think folks are starting to come back here.
Great. Thanks everybody for your participation. We have about 10 minutes left, and I want to make sure we get to our Q&A to address any questions. So we'll maybe spend a few minutes, maybe spend about 4 minutes doing a brief discussion on any best practices or takeaways, kind of concluding this workshop activity. I want to call out somebody from my group, Janelle, who had a really cool takeaway. Janelle, do you mind sharing your story?
Yeah. Well, I'm learning so much in this presentation, which is the point. But as Kylie was presenting earlier, I just kind of walked over to my cabinet and grabbed my Clorox wipes that are everywhere, and they're definitely prominent in my workplace right now. It's the go-to wipe. And sure enough, there on the back, there's a really big caution sign that is probably listed on the back of most cleaners. And I'm just so used to seeing it and not reading the tiny print that's right after it. But through this exercise, I found out that Clorox actually does have a compostable cleaning wipe, which thank you to Alex for imparting in me the knowledge that that doesn't necessarily mean you can just throw it in your compost bin. It probably needs to be a specific composting site. But this product is, they say it's safe to use around kids, pets, and food. No harsh chemicals. So that's an easy switch. And through the tool, found out it's available at Walmart. So I will be recommending to my workplace that we switch over to this other version that doesn't have that ginormous caution label and is still a Clorox branded item, because I think workplaces trust the word Clorox. And so if it's a safer Clorox option, I think that will go over a lot better.
Awesome. That's so great. Thank you so much for engaging with the information right as we were going with it. I love it. Brittany, just for a minute or so, do you have any cool findings or takeaways from your breakout room?
Let's see. Yeah, folks were able to find products relatively easily. There were some products that our participants were used to using that they were hoping were Safer Choice certified or thought might be Safer Choice certified, and turns out they weren't. And yeah, Greg, was there anything you wanted to share, or Jessica? I think our activity went pretty smoothly overall.
Yeah, I was looking for a product that I thought was certified and it wasn't. So that was interesting. And yeah, I like being able to also see when you search for some of this stuff, you can cost compare it and provide some options for people. That's great.
Greg, can I ask you a question? What made you think that it was a Safer Choice product? Did it have some sort of logo on it? Did it say eco-friendly?
I thought that I remembered when I had seen it in the past at a business that it had a logo on it. Yeah, I guess I was wrong.
Hey, just refer to the database. They're constantly updating it. So maybe potentially at some point it was, or a similar brand was, but hey, we learned. Awesome. And moving on, Lisa, we have about a minute or so. Any cool findings or major takeaways from your room?
Well, I think, yes, we found that one of our products from Kirkland Products that was carried at Costco has the link to go to the Costco website that has the full list of ingredients that are required by the California Safer Products Law, or Safer Cleaning Products Law. So that was really cool to actually be able to see that instead of the safety data sheets, which is sometimes really hard to read and often wrong. So that was really cool. And then we found that Defunkify, a local company in Oregon, has a all-purpose cleaner, which I didn't know, which is really neat. And then to Greg's point about things being categorized as green or eco, or even the product's color is green, it can be really tricky. Because we know that, like in our brains, it's like, oh, it's green, let's purchase that. Or it says green, the green is in the name. So I think that is part of the greenwashing that we have to be aware of and avoid.
Absolutely. And thanks for making that point, Lisa. And that's touching on the question that I asked Greg, because there's a lot of conflicting information out there. So that's why just referring to these labels will help make it easy for us. And Leticia, I didn't forget you. We had our Spanish translation room exploring the EPA and Espanol website. Any real quickly, any cool findings? Give you some five seconds or so to chime in. All right.
Todos, bueno, me agrada mucho este tipo de información porque creo que nos está actualizando sobre las cosas que podemos encontrar y las opciones que podemos encontrar. Particularmente en nuestro caso como promotores ambientales del condado de Washington, hemos desarrollado algunos tipos de ideas para sustituir estos productos tóxicos y realizar productos no tóxicos más amigables con el ambiente. Pero siempre es muy bueno saber que ya hay productos que son seguros y que son comerciales porque la gente está más acostumbrada a ellos. Pero me parece excelente la información que nos han dado. Gracias.
Leticia, if you're able to translate that, that would be beautiful. I would love to know what they said, but thank you for sharing. I love that we have a wide audience of stakeholders here today. So thank you.
I can chime in just for a second. I think
Okay.
what she did in the English channel. So we, apologize. I should have instructed everyone to click on the English link then, because she was translating while Sergio was
Okay.
explaining. But basically, Sergio is with the Washington County Promoters Program. So it's a mass recycler program. And so they're always looking for alternative products. And so he's very interested and excited about this search tool to take this information back to the promoters group to share all
Yay.
this. So they've been very active in creating disinfectants for different communities and using ingredients that people already have in their kitchens and bathrooms. And so this is a great resource to add to the list.
Great. Thank you so much. I love hearing that. Thank you for sharing. And we only have a couple minutes left in our planned time here. So I'll just be moving on. That if practitioners, all of us are now Safer Choice practitioners, and we're well on our way to fully harnessing these products. And the EPA will actually recognize organizations that choose to select and use safer chemicals with an award. So the EPA will recognize partners with an EPA Safer Choice Partner of the Year award, which recognizes contributions of stakeholders who have shown achievement in the design, manufacture, selection, and use of products with safer chemicals. And EPA especially encourages submissions of applications that show how the applicant's work promotes environmental justice, mitigates climate change, results in cleaner air or water, or improves drinking water quality. So if we make these product switches, that fully puts us down the road of potentially becoming an EPA Safer Choices partner someday. Hope to see you. All right, we have about a minute of planned time left. I can hang out for a couple minutes after to answer questions, but what questions do we have? And thank you everybody for your participation.
Yeah, that was a great, great activity.
Yes, thank you all for your participation. Janelle, oh, sorry, Jessica is asking to go back to the last slide. I am happy to. Sorry, I know I blew through that just to respect all of our time here, but take care, Greg. But yes, there's actually a EPA Safer Choices, Safer Choice Partner website that you can visit as well. I didn't have it prepared to drop into the chat, but it has all of the information contained on this slide, as well as case studies and lists of past award winners, so you can understand what they did to qualify for an award. All right, thanks for joining everybody. I don't see any questions, but I'll just hang out maybe for a minute or so after just to grab any at the last second. But thank you all so much for attending the Safer Choice training, especially during this crazy time of COVID. Pandemic's not over. And please stay in touch with us if you have questions about products or procurement, Safer Choice, DFE, etc. And we'll plan.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no problem at all. that was my end. I could keep going forever.
Yeah, I know. I know I have a little bit of information to share too, but yeah, this was great, so much great information here. So I just wanted to chime in and just let folks know that are still here that we'll be following up with all these materials and share as much of the presentation. And we have a recording of this, and happy to connect any attendees with our presenters from today. And so hopefully once we make these connections and send out all the materials, folks can send you guys lots of questions. So thanks again, Kylie, Brittany, and Lisa for joining us, and all the participants. We really appreciate you joining and kind of sticking with us and kind of getting through the all the logistics. And it's always a learning process sometimes with Zoom. So yeah, we'll be in touch and we'll see you next time. So have a great rest of your week, folks.
Hi, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.